What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Volks TV. Taking a break from my stuff because it's very frustrating. It's driving me nuts. You know, between that motor for the bus that doesn't want to start and the motor in the bus that doesn't want to start, it's killing me. I need to do a project that I know that I can start and finish and kind of get ahead and feel some accomplishment, because I've been kind of down lately about stuff. So we're going to help somebody out. We're going to help out our buddy Axel. You guys know Axel. Drives that little green, Soylent Green Bug. He's got a motor that they took out and they kind of worked on it and put it back together, but they're thinking the pistons are just kind of worn out. The rings are worn out in the cylinder. So they want to kind of tear it down again. And when you got it torn down, you might as well put some new pistons in there. And if you're going to put new pistons in there, why wouldn't you get some 87 millimeter slip-ins? Make that thing a 1641. I mean, it's a no-brainer. That's all well and good, but I told him, why don't we take it a step further? Let's balance those pistons for you. So that's what we're doing right here today. We're balancing the pistons that he got. These are just the bottom of the barrel, made in China pistons, because pretty much that's all you're going to get these days. You're not going to find anything else. But they're surprisingly nice. I mean, you know, they don't have any rough casting marks on there. They're machined very well. The top is nice. It's got a nice mark on it, so you're not going to miss that. 86.95. They're all the same. The rings are, what are you going to get? They're cheap rings. They're nothing special. But they're going to do the job. They're going to do the job just fine. We got some new cylinders over there. We're not going to mess with those today. There's nothing really that we can do, that we need to do, that's going to make any kind of big impact. So we're going to focus on the pistons themselves, the wrist pins, and the little clips. It's really, really easy to balance these, and you really don't need much. We've got our drill with a nice big drill bit, and I'll show you why in a minute. We got a Dremel tool with just a little drum sander, kind of sandpaper, a little brush, soft plastic bristle brush, a scale. I got this scale. This is actually what I use for shipping, but it does show grams. You can get these little tiny Harbor Freight scales that weigh stuff in grams, so those will work just fine. Anything medium to good quality. You don't want to go buy the cheapest one, because you want to be consistent. And you want to test it with some things that you know what the weight is, so that you can, verify that it's actually measuring correctly. Although it doesn't really matter what number you get, as long as you can consistently get the same number on the same piece. If it's off by 10 grams, it doesn't matter, because we're taking away. So as long as we take away enough to where they all end up weighing the same, it doesn't really matter what it says. We're not lightening, we're just balancing. That being said, we went ahead and measured these out ahead of time. 468 was the lowest one, and 474 was the heaviest one. And that's with the rings, but without the pin or the clips. I like to weigh that stuff separately, because I can, we can change the weights of all those if we have to reorder, reconfigure things. The rings on here, I didn't really want to take them off, because honestly I think they're going to break if I do. They're not made to open. They're just made to kind of close down once you put them in the cylinder. Like, see that? They pinch down. And we do need to pay attention to some stuff here, but we'll get into that at the end as well. So what we have, basically is 4 nice shiny new pistons. And you can look inside here and see we've got sort of rough casting marks in here, and there's a little hatchy pattern down at the bottom. These are all things that we want to pay attention to for the lightning. And we'll zip you down in here nice and close, and I can give you some good close-up shots and point some stuff out. So we'll do that. But these are basically done. I already did them, because they take, if it's just a little bit, it could be 10 minutes. But like this one, I worked on it for like an hour and a half, trying to get it just right. And I'll show you what's going on in there. It's crazy. But I got one that I haven't touched yet that I just need to take a little off, so we can kind of walk through one of them. So let's zip the camera down a little bit closer here, and we'll kind of show you our layout and our plan, and we'll get to grinding. Alright, here we go. All the stuff laid out. we've numbered these 1, 2, 3, 4 so we can keep track of them. And we've also numbered the piston jugs that they came out of, the cylinder sleeve. So I like to just put the same one back in the one that it came out of. It's not really, I don't think really that it's that important at this point. Out of the camera there we go. Because they're brand new, they haven't been run yet. If you take a used set and you're going to take them out and clean them up, you definitely want to put the old piston and the old cylinder matching back up to the same ones, because they've worn in a certain way. Brand new though, I don't think it makes a difference, but I'm going to do it anyways. Sorry about the fan noise, by the way. It's like 105 outside. It is way hot, so I'm just going to deal with the fan in post. So really, we just weighed them out. You know, we can weigh one real quick for you. Let the scale zero out here. There we go. Why is it taking forever? Oh wait. You got to weigh them, kind of move them around a little bit sometimes. Make sure that you're getting a consistent reading. But we got 468, so you write 468 on the top there, and then you know, we also weigh. Should have left that on. But we weigh the pins. We got 130, so we write 130 on there, and we kind of write that down as our starting point for each one. So each one has its own square, and each one stays in its own square as we work. Looking inside here, again, you see all the casting bits in there, and then there's that little waffle pattern at the bottom. I've been told that means that's where you're supposed to take the material from to balance them. Now, whether that's true or not, I have no idea. But that's the way I was always told. In the corners down here, you know, deep down in there, it's nice and thick. There's a lot of material. So you want to kind of go for that as your main big chunk of trying to get the weight out. And I'll show you, you know, I take the biggest drill bit that you can get, because you're not going deep. You want to go wide but shallow, and you kind of get that in there at an angle without touching this. You don't want to mess with these too much. But you get down in the corner there, you know, and you can scoop out some pretty good chunks. Do a little bit, weigh it again. Do a little bit, weigh it again. You know, you don't want to go too far. Obviously this is our lightest piston, so this one's not going to get anything done to it. I don't want to take material off if I don't have to, and just keep it as strong as possible. So this was our lightest one at 468. This one was 472, 472 grams by the way. So we took a little bit, basically the casting marks off of there. You know, you just kind of go in there with the Dremel and the little drum, sanding drum, you know, sandpaper, and you want to just take out any of the marks, the casting marks, the roughness, you know, smooth it out. That's a good way to remove material without removing too much material. You don't want to drill a hole through the middle of the piston. You don't want to make this part weak. You know, you don't want to take any material off if you can avoid it. So I found with this one, from 472 to 468, all it took was just some light sanding here and putting a chamfer. You know, basically you take a hard square edge and make it kind of a rounded edge on these wrist pin. Keep turning that thing off. I should probably just leave it on. But you do that, and you'll get, you know, now we're at 468. We just had to remove a little bit, you know, 4 grams. So we didn't have to use the drill, and everything we took off was just surface, you know, basic little bit. Piston is still strong, its integrity is intact. You know, that's great. This one was 474. Yeah, this was the heaviest one at 474 grams. Way too heavy compared to this one. Can you imagine how that thing would run? All sloppy and knocking around. So this one, you know, again, we got in there and smoothed everything out, and ended up taking a little bit more than just, you know, just the rough stuff. I did end up cutting a little bit of material out of the skirts, you know, a little bit out of down here. I didn't take anything from where the castings are. You know, all this stuff plays a role. It's either strengthening or gusseting or, you know, limiting the movement of the piston in there. So we don't want to take out these big chunks, but we did clean up between them and deep down in here. And with this one especially, we had to get way down in here and take out some of the meat from those corners, and it still wasn't enough. So we took that nice fat drill bit, and right in that area where I told you the hash marks were, because I've been told that's where you're supposed to take it from. We pulled out some of these nice big slivers from in there, and you know, we got it evenly kind of from around everywhere. You don't want to take it all off of one side. After all, we are trying to balance. So, you know, we got that. Move this around a little bit. It says 470. There we go, 468. So from 468 to 470 is kind of where we're at. That's our sweet spot. You know, you're not going to get any better than that. And I can actually get them all to weigh out with the wrist pins and the clips. I can get everything to come out to like 590 something across the board. So these all were nice. I didn't have to change anything with those. I didn't have to rearrange any of the rings. But we did definitely have to get in this one and hog out a lot of material. You see all the stuff that we took out. You know, this is from all three that we cut. And that's not all of it. That's just all that I could capture. But a lot of little fine stuff, a lot of bigger stuff. Or eye protection too. You gotta wear safety glasses. That's important. So that's balanced. This one, I think this one still reads 470. Yeah, this one needs a little work still. So we'll show you. I'll show you how to get in there and clean up some of this stuff just to get it down towards the 468 grams. We'll do that. So let's do that. I'm gonna cut the audio because it's stupid loud with that Dremel tool. But we'll show you close up how to cut that one down. Step in this adventure is put the wrist pins in these so you don't lose them, and put the pistons in the jugs so that we can get them ready for them to pop in there. This is actually pretty easy. Sometimes you get the little clips that are flat, and I like those actually like a little bit better, but these will work. These go together nice and easy. You use the needle nose, and inside the little piece there's a pocket, and you just squeeze that and set it in there, and then you give it a little half a twist. Make sure that you're in the groove there for that. Do one just like that. You also got to make sure that these go in nice and smooth. They should go in that easy. It should be that easy. This is not even lubed yet, but that just drops in there just like that. You don't want those to be tight or binding. That's a problem. You know, and then you pick up the second one. I need to put this down. These are kind of hard to grip. But you just get them right there. And just set that in there. See, I said it was easy, and now it's not easy. These will fly across the room too, which is pretty neat if you like looking for stuff. Definitely a fun time there. Come on now. It's because the wrist pin's in there, it makes it a little harder because you can't go as deep. But you can get it. You can get it. There we go. Then you tap it. Make sure that it's all the way down and give it a twist. That'll make sure that it's seated. Now that one's stuck in there. So now we know that this 592 grams of piston is set. It's ready to go. We don't want it to get mixed up with any of the other ones. Even though these all weighed out the same, we don't want it to get mixed up with any of the other ones. Everything should be the same. This is marked number 1 from earlier, and this is marked number 1 in the engine. You know, the two flat parts go together. So if we set this up how it goes into the motor, and then when you look at your piston, you've got your arrow that points towards the flywheel when you put that in the car, or when you put that in the motor. That all of those point backwards or forwards, however you think about it, to the flywheel. You got to line up these piston rings. See how they got the gaps? You don't want those to be the same, and you definitely don't want those to be at the top. So I put them one on each end, just like that. The oil ring, I think, doesn't really matter because it's pretty much the same all the way around. This has a bunch of holes in it, and it flings oil. But I put the little red and green mark at the top. You know, this is all going to move a little bit, but you don't want it to move a lot of it. Then we take our ring compressor, which is a fancy tool that I picked up on Amazon for like $1. It'll run away from you. You got to be careful. Just slide that on there. Doesn't have to be super tight. Just needs to compress those rings. And again, with the arrow towards the flywheel, and we carefully place the piston in there. Push it down. We'll give it some friendly taps with a wooden hammer, or if you have like a wood block and a mallet, just like that. Now he can turn this, you know, obviously once it's inside there, he's gonna have to rotate that a little bit and pull it down to get it on the what is that? The rod. And he's gonna have to pull that wrist pin out anyways. But we wanted it to be in there so that when we pack it back up for him, you know, nothing gets lost. And then we just have everything marked so that when he puts it together, there's no question. Number 1, towards the front, arrow that way, flat part that way. And that's it. That's a whole assembly right there. When he goes to put that in the motor, you squirt a bunch of oil in there. You slide that into the case. The head slides onto here. You bolt her down, set up your rockers, and you're finished. You got it. It's that easy to balance pistons and put them in the cylinders and put them in your motor and get, I don't know, 0.41 cc's or whatever it is. Make it a 1641 instead of a boring old 1600. You'll be glad you did. That was it. I can tell you where to get pistons. I can tell you where to get all these tools. Just look down below. That's where the links are. It's that easy. One of those links will take you to get a t-shirt. Not this t-shirt, but one of our t-shirts. Get you one of our t-shirts. Back to school is coming. You want to have the coolest kids in school? Get them a t-shirt from Old Volks TV. You'll be glad you did. Another thing to make you happy. Hoodies are down there too, but holy moly, it's hot. Probably don't want to buy one of those right now. Hit the links, visit all our friends as well. Hit that subscribe button, like, comment, share, tell everybody, you know, we're here for you. And if you have any questions, hit me in the comments. I can, you know, I always answer all the questions, me or Sean. And thanks for watching.